If you want to see how I created this real simple halo eye where I used minimal brushes and products, then please keep watching. Okay, we're going to begin as always by taking our Precision Brow Pencil by NYX in the shade Ash Brown. Let's get these brows in place before we begin, so just give them a good brush. And then flip your pencil over and just lightly draw them on in the style that you like. I like there to be a straight edge on top and then also a straight edge parallel on the bottom. So I'm going to brave it, and when I go to Nando's later with my mate, I'm going to actually pop into Superdrug and get them threaded. So, oh my god, this might be the last time you're going to see this eyebrow fall. I swear to god though, if they muck it up this time, I am never getting them done again, ever. I'm going to have these wench eyebrows and I'm just going to live with it. Okay, now just in that front area, I just want to get rid of any of those little sparse gaps. So we're just flicking the product up with a nice light hand to create little hair-like strokes. Run that through once more. And voila! You see I've got some purpley dark bits on my eye here, and I've got some veins. So we're going to cover that up with a good base, and today I'm going to use the Plouise base in the shade 02 Rumour. You want to apply this with a nice patting motion in order for it to become tacky, ready for the eyeshadow. Now to carve out the brow, I'm just going to turn the brush on its side so we've got the full use of its surface area, and therefore it should come out neater. Now, in order to get out any of those creases or lines from the brush that we just used, I'm just going to take my Zoeva concealer buffer brush and begin to pat further over what we just done. Especially if you've got a slight low crease in your eye, you want to make sure you do this step. Just blend this into the skin, ready for the foundation, so you can't see any edge. This eye today I'm going to try and use minimal products and minimal brushes, just because I want it to be something that's real simple and it's going to be easily accessible to everyone. Now for this eye today, I'm only going to use shadows from the Anastasia Beverly Norvina palette. First up, I'm going to pick up the shade Passion on a Sigma E36 blending brush and begin to put this in the inner and outer corner of my eye. Just start by adding little tapping motions. If you feel like you need to push it into the creases because they're starting to show, just like that, then just give your brush a little tiny wiggle. Don't worry about any of the fallout, they're quite typical for Anastasia shadows. We'll just come to that later with a baby wipe. This is how I start to map out a halo eye, or a spotlight eye, whatever you like to call it. So I just want to do a darker outer and inner corner. Okay, don't dip your brush back into the palette anymore, just keep what's already on there and just ever so lightly try and join those two together. Okay, I've just dipped back in once more and deposit most of the colour on that outer V. When the product leaves the brush, then you can bring it to the centre. Okay, once you're happy with the opacity of the shadow, then you just want to use your brush and go slightly higher without dipping back in and diffuse the edge. I'm just swapping to a clean E25 blending brush by Sigma. Okay, we're going to pick up that first brush that we used, but this time we're going to dip it in the shade Eccentric, and we're just going to go a little bit higher than the first shade. The technique that I like to use is to place the colour down first, so really push that into the skin so you get the sort of pigment that you're looking for, and then you can go in and buff away those edges. But you do what works for you. And then like before, we're just going to take that E25 blending brush Okay, for my transition shade, I'm going to mix both Incense and Base on a Sigma E40 brush. I'm just going to start to place this right in the upper eyelid. Now, as you can see, we've lost a lot of that initial colour Passion, so we're just going to go back in with the same brush as before and re-intensify it. That's why I love this brush, because it's so tiny, you can really get into your crease. So, I went to go see the medium. Remember I was telling you before in the last video that I was going, and oh, it was so sick. I literally cried straight away. She just knew things that, because I'm so sceptical, I don't normally believe it, but I've always been curious, and yeah, I'd heard nothing but good things about this lady. So I went there and it was mad what she was saying. She was just like, oh, I've got your dad's dad here. He keeps showing me a bird, so like, what's the correlation there? And I said, well, his name was Charles Robin or something like that. I didn't know him. He died before I was born. And what else was she saying? She said, oh, I've got your nan here, but it's your mum's mum, isn't it? I was like, fucking hell, yeah. And then she was saying, you're one of three, and your mum, but your nan had 3 girls, didn't she? And all she kept going on about is like her girls and stuff like that. And she said about your nan's just, there's like daffodils everywhere. What's the significance of the daffodils? I said, well, they're my mum's favourite flower. And she said there's more of a correlation than that. Something to do with March, what happened in March. And she died in March and stuff. It's so weird. But the weirdest thing of all that she said is she said, I've got, your nan's brought this young man. He's about 18, 19. And she just wanted him to come and say hello. You never knew him, did you? And I was like, literally don't know who you're on about, love. And then she was like, he died in a car accident, and he died on the road within impact, didn't he? And I was like, oh my God, that's my mum's cousin Adrian that died like years ago in a car accident. Like, how the hell would she know that? Like, I barely really even knew that. So yeah, I'm converted. Right, I just want to add a little bit more of that incense colour. No, I don't. What do I want to do? No, I want to add a little bit more of that eccentric colour just to bring a little bit more warmth to it, because it's looking quite cool toned at the minute. If you want to keep it cool toned, then cool, you do you. But I just want to make this slightly warmer. And then lastly, just blend away any of those edges. Okay, before we move on, I've just taken a cotton pad and a little bit of makeup remover, and I just want to clean up on the outer corner because it's distracting me. So just fold it in half and then swipe away. Okay, I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that base and start to apply it in the centre of the eye just to clean it up a little bit and make the shadows appear brighter. Make sure it's higher than your natural crease though, so that when you open your eye there's lots of lid space, so you wouldn't really be able to see much eyeshadow. So if we go higher, it will give the illusion that my crease is actually higher, which is the dream. For so long I just wanted like these big, huge lids, but you just learn to work with what you got. Before we add the shadows, I'm just taking a small detailed brush from Zoeva. I will list the exact products down below, but I'm just tapping over that edge very lightly to get rid of it. I don't know, I just feel like this makes the next bit easier. Okay, now using that brush that we just used, push that over the edge of the base. Now keep that brush in your hand, but just turn it over to the side that doesn't have any product on it and dip into Incense. So we're just replicating the shades that we used on top. I'm going to take my MAC 242 brush and the shade Summer and pat that directly where the base is and bring it down to the centre. Apologies the state of this eyeshadow, I've literally murdered it the amount of times I've used it. Lovely. Grabbing Incense again on that. Let's just really blend these edges. Just going to give myself a nice good coat of mascara. And this is the Smoky Eye Mascara by Bobbi Brown. For lashes today I'm going to use my faves, and these are the Tatti lashes in the style TL3. So I've loaded them up with loads of duo lash glue and I've just let them sit for a couple minutes to become super tacky. And I'm just going to begin to apply the centre. And I like to stick the outer corner and then the inner. Tell me those lashes ain't everything. Oh, it's a day for faves today because I'm grabbing my favourite eye pencil of all time, and this is by NYX and it's in the shade Cafe. It's brown, but it's got such a nice bronze reflect to it. I just think it's so lovely, especially if you've got smaller eyes and you don't want to totally close them off with a black. And I'm just going to take that pencil and run it through my lash roots just to get it proper smoky. This is like £4, like it's mad. If you can get like a sick pencil for £4, why would you go and spend 15 quid at like Mac or something? NYX, you are doing it. Now for under eyes, we're just going to use something super affordable. This is the Okay, this is the Revolution Super Size Conceal and Define. They made it super size because everyone was raving about it. People say that this is a Tarte Shape Tape dupe. Although I don't think it is a dupe or a dupe. How the hell do you say that? Anyway, I don't think it is, but it is very good. And it is cheap. It's probably like maybe £7 or £9 for the big one. Try not to get too close to that bit there, otherwise we'll disturb that blend. Then I'm going to take my wet sponge. This is by Real Techniques. And we're just going to work that concealer into the skin with dabbing motions. Don't swipe, because if you swipe then you'll take that product away. You want to dab it to keep it nice and thick. I'm going to turn it over to the straight edge, which is another reason why I love this sponge, because you can get a real nice edge on your eyeshadow and just soften that line a little bit. Now I'm not going to set that because I find that this dries down quite matte on its own and I do tend to get quite creasy under my eyes, but if you're quite oily then just do what you want to do and feel free to bake it or just set it with a loose powder. Now I'm going to take the flat definer brush from Sigma, the E15, and I'm going to start to do under my eye. You're just doing little wiggling motions real close to that lash line. I want this to be quite smoky. Oh yeah, I'm well excited, I'm going Nando's later. But I will be ordering something. Oh, it's so impossible though. How can you go and not order peri peri chips? I want to order something like super greens. Whatevs. Okay, now I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is by Zoeva and it is 230 Luxe pencil brush. In the shade Eccentric, and we're just going to run this under. And then lastly, we're going to take the Luxe Smoky Shader Brush by Zoeva with Incense and Base combined. And we're just going to diffuse that just like we did the top of the eye. Okay, now I'm going to finish off the eye by taking the shade Dreamer, which is pretty much on its last legs. I think it's probably going to be the last time I get to use it. But I'm going to pop that in my inner corner and brow bone just for an extra highlight. You don't have to spritz your brush, not like other shadows where you either do that or you don't see anything. But if you want it to be extra foiled, then you can. Do a little tiny bit here. If you've got quite a few sparse hairs, I know that I've got a couple, but if you've got more, you probably don't want to highlight under your brow bone because then you'll just bring attention to them, like if you're in between brow appointments. Do I want to leave it there? See, this is my problem. I'm like done and it looks beautiful, but I'm like, no, we need more. Actually, just quickly, I'm just gonna take this little tiny detailed brush from Zoeva with the shade Dazzling, which is that nice bronze colour, and I'm just going to push that underneath the eye. I've been doing this quite a bit lately on my clients, and I'm loving it. It just looks so reflective and pretty. It brightens up a smokier under eye. Now finally, I love a nice big coat of mascara on the bottom lashes. Oh, look who came to say hello. Come sit back here so they can see you. This is Opie. She looks miserable. She's got all stuff around her face. And you're giving my game away, I've only done one eye. Oh, she's the most precious girl in the world. Okay, this is the finished look. I hope you guys liked it. I absolutely love this eye. I think it's quality. I think you can wear this in the daytime if you're going out for nice day drinks like brunch and stuff, or if you go into a party. I think it's quite versatile. So as always, if you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you've got any feedback, and make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. See you later.